For 12,000 years, warfare in the Galactic Council had been a civilized affair. Disputes were settled through drone combat, sophisticated AI-controlled machines that clashed in designated neutral zones while their operators sat safely aboard climate-controlled command ships, sipping nutrient beverages and monitoring tactical displays. Casualties were measured in credits and resources, never in lives. It was elegant. It was efficient. It was the way advanced species conducted conflict. Then humanity submitted their application for council membership, and everything changed. The validation trial was meant to be a formality. Every species seeking council membership had to demonstrate basic military competency by engaging in a standard drone conflict scenario against the Thorian Confederacy, current holders of the ceremonial, first defense, position. The Thorians had won 847 consecutive validation trials. Their drone technology was unmatched, their tactical algorithms refined over millennia. Admiral Kreshtar watched from his flagship as the human vessel, a crude, blocky thing they called the TDFS Indomitable, entered the designated combat zone. His tactical officer had already analyzed the human drone deployment patterns. Primitive. Their AI response times were adequate but unremarkable. Their weapon systems relied on kinetic projectiles rather than elegant plasma matrices. The battle would be over in minutes. Initiating combat protocol, Kreshtar announced, his voice calm. 300 Thorian combat drones launched from his carrier, their movements synchronized in patterns of mathematical perfection. The human ship launched nothing. Sensor malfunction, his weapons officer suggested, mandibles clicking in confusion. Negative, the science officer reported. Their launch bays are opening. I'm detecting, by the ancestors. On the main view screen, Kreshtar watched something that would haunt him for the rest of his long life. Figures in armored suits were pouring from the human ship. Not drones. Not AI constructs. Living beings. Hundreds of them, propelling themselves through the void with nothing but small maneuvering thrusters attached to their suits. They're sending their own bodies into combat? Kreshtar whispered, his respiratory organs constricting in horror. What kind of savages? His drones engaged first. Plasma bolts that could vaporize durasteel struck the human soldiers. Some died instantly. But others, impossibly, used their fallen comrades' bodies as shields while closing the distance. Kreshtar watched a human female grab a destroyed drone chassis and hurl it at another drone, the improvised projectile disrupting its targeting systems long enough for her squad mates to close in. The humans moved through space like they'd been born to it, adapting to zero-gravity combat with terrifying efficiency. They tore into his drone formations with handheld weapons, and when those ran empty, with tools. And when the tools broke, with their armored fists. One human male ripped the weapon array off a disabled drone and used it against others. Another group coordinated their thruster packs to create a formation that confused the drone's targeting algorithms, then struck from multiple vectors simultaneously. Deploy countermeasures. Kreshtar ordered desperately. Pattern Theta 9. It didn't matter. The drones were designed to fight other drones, predictable, algorithmic, logical opponents. The humans fought with creativity born from millions of years of survival on a world that actively tried to kill them. They improvised. They adapted. They turned the drone's own sophisticated programming against them by doing things no AI could predict. A human soldier landed on Kreshtar's command drone, the most advanced unit in the Thorian arsenal, and simply began tearing it apart with a handheld plasma cutter. When that failed, the human switched to a crowbar. A crowbar. A simple metal lever, the kind of tool primitive species used for construction, and it was more effective than the drone's defensive systems had accounted for. 18 minutes after combat began, every single Thorian drone was disabled or destroyed. The human soldiers hung in space, some wounded, some dead, but victorious. Their casualties were 37%. By drone warfare standards, such losses would be considered catastrophic. But they had won. Kreshtar's communications officer looked at him with wide, terrified eyes. "Sir, they're requesting permission to board and render aid to their wounded. They want to retrieve their dead." "Permission granted," Kreshtar said numbly. His species cremated failures and moved on. These humans wanted to bring their dead home. The council chambers 3 days later were silent as the human ambassador, Fleet Admiral Victoria Zhao, stood before them. Her left arm was in a regeneration sleeve from the battle. "Counselors," she said calmly, "we understand our methods are unconventional. But Earth taught us a simple truth: the weapon doesn't win wars. The will behind it does. Your drones are magnificent machines. But they can't want to win. They can't adapt to chaos. They can't look at impossible odds and choose to fight anyway." She gestured to her injured arm. "We can. And we will. Whether you grant us council membership or not, know this: if you ever face a threat your drones can't handle, there are 8 billion humans who will gladly put our bodies between you and annihilation. Because that's what Deathworlders do." The vote for humanity's membership was unanimous. And across the galaxy, military academies began adding a new course to their curriculum: close-quarters combat. Just in case they ever had to fight alongside, or against, humans again. The age of civilized warfare was over. The age of humanity had begun.